Hey friends, it is Lane with Tim's Nation. I am here today to talk to you a little bit about my Imperial Guard. Astra Militarum army that I'm bringing today. That's right, it's a debut for the channel, my Astra Militarum army. I, I've been playing since the 90s, guys, since the mid 90s. So I'm probably going to call them Imperial Guard most of the time, as they were originally called. But you get the idea. As you can tell by my agedness and my wizardness, that I have some old models and I have some metal models in the army here. Always going to squeeze some metal models in whenever I can. But yeah, today we're running Astra Militarum. I got a bunch of tanks. I have been kind of acquiring some bits and pieces of this army over some time and putting some paint to them. Recently, a friend of mine asked me to help him sell some of his Imperial Guard stuff on eBay, and I was like, you know what? What if I just bought it from you? What if I just bought a bunch of tanks from you? So we've got a bunch of tanks today, a bunch of vehicles. I think 12 vehicles in the list. Going to run the Hammer of the Emperor detachment, the vehicle detachment, because that's what we're doing. I don't have much experience with Imperial Guard, so I don't know. I thought this would be a good day to bring it because DJ's bringing all of his weird little characters. I figured, what the heck, we'll give this a try. This is only the second time I've ever played the army, so I'm sure I'm going to get some things wrong. But please, I appreciate any advice you guys can give me in the comments on, what detachments are good, what to play, that sort of thing. I don't have a huge collection. This is not like my Space Marines where I have, almost 20,000 points of Space Marines. This is mostly it. I've got a couple Basilisks and Manticores that I have built, but probably not running because the rules are just really rough on the indirect for Guard right now. So this is most of the collection I have. In the future, I think I want to try to get me one or two of the Rogal Dorns, because the Rogal Dorn tank commanders are just way better than the Leman Rust tank commanders. I don't have any yet. But the rest of that, I've got some good stuff in here. We've got Hellhounds to take off cover and Leman Rust exterminators to increase AP and some other Leman Rust to do some damage. In the models, you'll see that I have some of the old white metal Armageddon Steel Legion guys. I'm just running these as catechins today. That's another holdover from the 90s. We didn't have the internet back when. We thought it was pronounced Catachan and not Catachan. So I'm gonna say stuff wrong the whole time. So back in the 90s, we didn't have the internet. We just read what we read out of the book. We didn't know how people pronounce the stuff. So, but anyways, I'm going to run them as Catachans just to get that scout move in there. And of course, they're going to be going into Chimeras with the firing deck, so I'll get to shoot their flamers out, do a little extra damage there. The army is painted. As you can see, there are paint on the models. There is paint on the models. I feel like I need to do a little more work on them. A few things need to be touched up. I need to do a little bit, pick some kind of accent color to put on the tanks, because they're just their basic Xandri Dust base coat, and then doing all the metallics. As far as weapons, not everything is exactly WYSIWYG yet, because a lot of these models I got secondhand or were already built. I got them off eBay, that sort of thing. It's pretty expensive to just start a whole army, so I wasn't able to buy everything brand new in the box on the sprue, so I kind of had to make do with what we had here. So I'm going to keep it simple. I'll keep most of the sponsons and things on Leman Rust is the same as far as what they'll actually be running with. Not everything is perfectly WYSIWYG, but I'll kind of talk through that as we go through the list here. So yeah, let's check out some Imperial Guard here. Sorry, Astra Militarum. We'll check out this Astra Militarum list and talk about how we plan to use it today. All right, so this is 1,995 points of Astra Militarum in the Hammer of the Emperor detachment. We got a bunch of tanks. Might as well take the tank detachment. I don't know if it's the best one. I think the combined arms might be a little bit better, just to get those lethal hits on things. But that's what we're running today. Like I said, I'm just trying to learn the army. There's a lot of interactions with orders and things, so it's going to take me a little while to learn everything. So we'll just do the tank one. To start off for our characters, we do have Gaunt's Ghosts. I got these guys painted up, happy with how they look. The Gaunt's Ghost is an interesting little unit here. They have a ton of extra rules. As far as their damage output, there's one guy with a cool autocannon, and then just a bunch of like goofy little las guns and one las gun sniper rifle. I don't know, a bunch of little stuff. I'm not really concerned about their damage output. When it comes time for them to shoot or fight, I'm going to have to get into that, get into their data sheet and look, because everybody's got a different weapon in here. But their special abilities is where they really cook. So they have a bunch of special abilities. First of all, they are infiltrators, so they do infiltrate. They have lone operatives, so they can't be shot outside of 12 inches. They do have stealth, so if you do get within 12 inches, they're going to be -1 to hit. And they have fights first, so if you try to charge them, they're not super powerful in combat, but they might chip a few wounds off of whatever goes in to get them. Then they also always have the benefit of cover because of their camo cloaks, so even though their armor's not great, they're always considered to be in cover. And they have the ability to uppy downy. So at the end of my opponent's turn, if the unit is not within engagement range of one or more enemy units, you can remove it from the battlefield. And then it's set up in the reinforcement step of my next movement phase, anywhere on the battlefield more than 9 inches away from all enemy models. So they have the ability to uppy downy with that lone op ability. They can get around, bounce around, do some actions for me, score some secondaries, maybe get on objectives for primary. So they're super useful there. 110 points, so 10 points more than a Calidus Assassin, but way more durable. And then there's 5 models here that have 2 wounds apiece, and 1 model that has 3 wounds. And the Calidus is only toughness 4 with just 4 wounds, so she's actually pretty easy to scrape up a little bit of bolter fire. So these guys will just be a little more durable there. And like I said, hilariously, I love the autocannon the one guy has. Bragg's autocannon's 4 shots, hits on 5s. Ugh. But strength 9, AP 1, flat 3 damage. It's a pretty juicy autocannon. Of course, they can give out orders too. Once they come in from reserve, they can give out orders. They'll probably be pretty isolated, and I don't have many troops in this army, so they're probably just going to give themselves their orders. Their +1 to hit will be the most likely. Moving on, we do have 2 Leman Rust tank commanders. I therefore think for the points, the Rogaldorns are much better. It's not that many more points for a much more durable, much more hard-hitting tank, but we're going to take Leman Rusts because we don't have any Rogaldorns. They come in at 235 points apiece. One of them is going to have the Calm Under Fire enhancement, and all this does, each one issues 2 orders, but he can also issue an extra order to something as long as it's the same as one of his orders. So he can double issue an order. So it just gives me a little more order flexibility with these guys. I'm equipping them. So all my Leman Russes are going to have las cannons on the front of the hull, multi-meltas on the sponsons, and then these guys are going to have the Demolisher battle cannons as their turret weapon. The Demolisher, it doesn't have as many shots. It's only D6 +1, but it is strength 14, AP 3, and D6 damage. So it gives me that high strength where I don't get anywhere else in the army, really. And it gives me that higher AP so I can get through armor a little bit better. I'm sure DJ's got, in his all Necron character army, he's got a bunch of invulns, so the higher AP is probably not going to matter that much. But definitely in the other matchups, it will be important. So, yeah, 2 Leman Rust tank commanders. Both of them have the same equipment here as far as the Demolisher battle cannon, multi-meltas of the sponsons, las cannon up front. The one that has the little guy sticking out the top, he's not painted yet, but that's going to be the one that has the enhancement for the extra orders. Moving on to battle line, we do have 2 10-man squads of Catachan Jungle Fighters. Like I said, I am using my old school metal Steel Legion Armageddon models here. I've had them forever, but I just finally got them painted up in the last month or so. I've always had intentions of starting an Imperial Guard army, and it's just finally come to pass, but I've been collecting. I've got like another 40 or 50 of these Steel Legion guys laying around. So if I ever decide to do all infantry, I could do that. I've got the models. But like I said, we're going to use them as Catachans. Catachans give the scout move, and if they're in a dedicated transport, they give the transport the scout move. So that's just handy for me getting around the table. They're not equipped WYSIWYG because I don't have flamers for these. There's a chance they're going to have 2 flamers in the squad. So the 2 heavy weapons, the missile launcher and the grenade launcher in each of these squads, will be just counting as flamers for today. Moving on, dedicated transports. We do have 3 chimeras. For this battle, We're just going to say that every Chimera is equipped with 2 heavy flamers, so 1 mounted on the front, 1 on the turret, and then they also have their extra array of las guns and a stubber on top and a 100 killer missile. So for a little transport, they do have a lot of little guns so you can chip some wounds off of things. Now, I know that the oh man, I forget what it was. The other transport is like 20 points cheaper. And so a lot of people are running those, but I don't have those. I have Chimeras, so we're going to run Chimeras. That's what we got. They are a little bit more durable than the other transports, so and they just have a variety of little guns on them. Like I said, a couple heavy flamers, plus they got the firing deck in there, so the Catechins will be able to shoot their flamers out too, so they might be able to do a little damage here and there. But other than that, a great utility unit, and they'll get the scout ability from the Catechins that are embarked inside. Next, we've got 2 Hellhounds. Hellhounds come in at 125 points, and for some reason they have 2-up armor, so they're a little bit more durable than you'd expect on a Chimera chassis there. So the Hellhounds, after they shoot something, you pick something they shot, and it doesn't even have to be with their flamer weapon. It can just be anything that they hit with one of their, so you can put the stubber in there, or the heavy bolter or whatever, you can put that into something. So I'm going to take heavy bolters on the front of these 2 guys, and then of course the flame cannon. Oh, which one? I'm going to use the Inferno cannon is what we're going to use here. The Chem cannon seems pretty good too, because it's anti-infantry 2-up and 2 damage. You get fewer shots. This is D6 plus 1, while the Inferno cannon is 2d6. It's only 1 damage though, so it seems like they're both pretty good. We're going to take the Inferno cannon. It does have a little bit longer range, and then we're going to take the heavy bolter on the front, just so we have something that's long range if I want to read it out and shoot something further away to strip cover. So we'll be using that. But again, toughness 10, the 2-up armor is kind of nice. Give them a little bit of durability, and of course, the ability to go out there and cook something and do a little bit of damage in Overwatch is handy as well. Moving on, we do have 1 Leman Rust battle tank. So this is just the regular Leman Rust with their Leman Rust battle cannon. Their special ability is that they reroll all hit rolls if something's on an objective. So anytime they make an attack, they reroll a hit roll of 1. But if they shoot at something that's on an objective that you do not control, you can reroll the whole hit roll. And of course, he's going to have the battle cannon up for him. The battle cannon has a good number of shots. It's D6 plus 3, so a good number there, and blast. Hits on 4s normally. Strength is 10, AP 1, flat 3 damage. It's a decent profile. Just that strength 10 kind of holds it back from being able to be consistent into vehicles of toughness 10 or higher, vehicles and monsters. The AP 1 is kind of low, but you have ways of buffing your AP with the exterminators and ignoring cover with the Hellhounds. But this is kind of nice just because it gives you some consistent shots onto something on an objective. So that's why we're taking that. And again, multi-meltas and the sponsons, las cannon on the front, on the front. Then I've got 2 of the Leman Rust exterminators. I do like the exterminators. Now, after they shoot something with their autocannon, it's got to be with their autocannon. The rest of your army gets extra AP when they're shooting that. You can only tag something once, I think. Same enemy unit can only be affected by this once per phase. And it does have to be the autocannon itself. It can't just be any gun on it, like the Hellhounds, but it gives you extra AP in there. And then those autocannons are pretty decent. They are 4 attacks at 48 inches, but rapid fire 4. So if you put in 24, you're going to get 8 shots. Hit on 4s, of course, strength 9, AP 1, flat 3 damage, but they are twin linked. So you actually get some consistency there with being able to reroll the wounds. Again, because it's a Leman Rust, we're putting a las cannon on the front and multi-meltas on the sides. And I've got 2 of those just to dish out that extra AP when I'm trying to shoot things with the Demolisher cannons or the rapid fire battle cannons. Moving on, we do have, we got 1 squad of Ogrren. I'm glad that the Ogrren are actually decent now. The Ogrren are, I've been wanting to build a guard army for a long, long time. So I'm glad that they finally got a little bit better here. The Ogrren, they're toughness 6 with 3 wounds apiece. Their save is only a 5 up, but They do have a feel no pain 6-up, so they have a little bit of durability here with being toughness 6. They are only 60 points for 3 of them, but their guns are pretty good if they hit, of course. And so each one of them has a Ripper gun, which is 3 shots, strength 5, AP 1, 2 damage. So basically a heavy bolter, except if they get within 9 inches, they get rapid fire 3. So each one they gets 6 shots at strength 5, AP 1, 2 damage. And if they shoot, what is this? And they make shoot the nearest eligible target, they improve the AP by 1. So they get the AP 2. So pretty decent consistency from their guns there. And they can ride around in a Chimera. So they're going to be in a Chimera. I think they take up 3 spots apiece. So you can only put a 3-man into a Chimera. But then we're going to do that so they can pop out and shoot some things a little bit. Moving on, we also have my favorites. Listen, it would probably make more sense to take 3 Scout Sentinels, but I dropped 1 Scout Sentinel so I could have a squad of Rattlings. These are some old school metal Rattling models, not the new ones. The new models look great, but I had some of these I painted up a long time ago. They're hobbits with guns. Of course, I'm going to take some Rattlings. They're so much fun to play with. They're great little sculpts, great little models. They've got, most of these models have some snacks with them too. Like one guy's got a bag of apples, so in case he gets a little peckish while he's ready to snipe somebody out. So the Rattlings do give us an infiltrating unit. For how durable they are, they're very low. Their points are kind of expensive. It's 60 points for 5 of these guys. So they're 12 points apiece. They're a toughness 2 with 1 wound and a 6-up armor save. They're nothing. It seems kind of expensive for how paper thin they are. But their ability is after they shoot, they can move. They can make a normal move as long as they're not in engagement range. So they can move out, shoot something, and move back. Their guns are all right. Each one gets a sniper rifle. 1 shot, hits on 3s, strength 4, AP 2, 2 damage. So it can do a little bit of damage, just depending on your wound rolls there with the strength 4. But the big thing is they infiltrate. They give you some board presence. You can get out and do actions, do primaries and secondaries. And while they are paper thin, their ability to shoot and then move again after they shoot gives them the ability to hide a little bit. So I hope they stick around for a little while. And finally, we just have 2 of the Scout Sentinels. The Scout Sentinels give us a nice scout move. Obviously, a scout at 9 inches. That's pretty good scout move to get out there to get ready to take some objectives, do secondaries if I need them to. Of course, their buff here is that they, in the shooting phase, they can just look at an enemy unit within 18 inches. And until the end of the phase, every Astro Military model makes an attack that targets that unit, rerolls hit rolls of 1. So they give us reroll hit rolls of 1 into a chosen enemy unit. I've got 2, like I said, it would make more sense to take 3 squads of these guys or 3 models. But I really wanted to put some Rattlings in because I love my little Rattlings. So the Scout Sentinels also have I'm equipping them with a las cannon, and they also have a Hunter killer missile on there. So maybe they'll get lucky and do a little bit of damage somewhere along the line. Into this all Necron character army, any las cannon gets through might just pick up a character. So that's, they might do a little bit of work. That's the list, guys. All right. As I said, this is the second time I've ever played this army. So you correct me on any mistakes I make with rules. Let me know here. I just want to have some fun with a bunch of tanks, move them across the table, shoot at some things, do some damage to Necron characters. I don't know if I'll be able to do any work into the Silent King. The battle cannons are the Leman Rust commanders with the demolish cannons. They should be able to get some wounds through because they'll be wounding them on 3s. AP3 is good, but he's still going to have a 4-up embalm. So we'll see if they actually get the work done. Other than that, I'm just trying to get some board control presence. He's taking all characters, so I might take Assassinate and then engage in all fronts, or maybe Cleanse or something. We'll see. It depends on what the deployment actually looks like. But yeah, no real secrets here as far as strategies. I just want to make sure the only orders that I'm really giving out are from the tank commanders. I know that the Gaunt's Ghost can give out orders, but they'll probably just be ordering themselves the +1 to hit. Give them take aim. The tank commander is going to be giving out orders. That's it. The orders are kind of a lot to process, especially because this is an army that relies on you buffing other units, and a lot of synergies here between a Hellhound hitting something and stripping away cover, and then an exterminator hitting that and giving you extra AP into it, and something else hitting it to finish it off. So I'm just really working on all those interactions And it's a lot of tanks. It's a lot to move around the table. You can definitely have parking lot syndrome where there's just traffic jams all over the place. Even if you have a strat to move through a wall in this detachment, that's just one tank, and I've got 12 vehicles on the table, so that's going to take a little practice. I'm so used to my Death Watch just uppy, downing, popping up and down somewhere. These guys have to move across the table. The detachment gives us auto advance of 6, so I don't have to roll any advance rolls for any of the vehicles. They're all just going to move 6. So neat. Yeah, I'll have to look into my strats too, just double check those to make sure. One of them reduces damage. I don't know how much I'll be using that. It's really effective into a lot of 2 damage stuff or 3 damage stuff, but the Necrons are going to be shooting at me have some high damage weapons. I don't know if it'll be that relevant, and that one is 2 CP. So I'm probably going to be using Overwatch on things like Hellhounds and even the Chimeras because they've got a couple heavy flamers. Probably going to be using Tank Shock a lot, trying to just pick up an extra character somewhere there with a few mortal wounds. And then, of course, I'd have the a strat that gives me extra AP into a target within 12 inches, which in a lot of cases could be good, but there's a lot of invulns in the on the Necron army, so it might not be that useful to give me any extra AP. So we'll see. I'll make sure I review those strats before we get to the actual game itself. But follow me over to the actual battle report. Let's see how the Imperial Guard, or Astra Militarum if you're new, let's see how they do today. All right, have a good one.